If you haven't read the book 1984, I would highly recommend that you read it. Not only is it one of my personal favorite novels, but the book and the themes in the book have become so relevant in our society today. It's almost like we're headed to a society that's of that nature, right? When I was in school and we were learning about this novel, my teacher would always say, like, George Orwell was ahead of his time, right? And I didn't really know what that meant. But as I've looked around more, I've kind of seen themes in our world that are dystopian, like literally. I mean, it's almost like George Orwell literally predicted the future in an abstracted sense, right? Obviously, we don't have thought crime, right? It's not a crime to think, but there definitely seems to be like a lack of critical thinking in our society. And so not only do I enjoy the story, but I think it's an important book, right? And I'm actually kind of surprised they still teach it in schools, right? But, I mean, I'm not even sure where to start with how this all applies to our current day. I mean, for one, constant surveillance, right? Think about things like the Patriot Act, right? CCTV. There's cameras everywhere. I have to fingerprint into my job at a gym for $12 an hour. Like, they're actually tracking everything that we do. And, like, you always see the memes about, like, FBI agents tapped into phones. That shit's real, bro. Like, that shit is most definitely real. Right, and there's all these, like, terms and agreements that people don't read, like saying that they're going to steal your information. Not necessarily steal it, but that they're going to use your data, right, on, like, browsers and stuff. Right, so not only are we under constant surveillance, I feel like I don't need to do much elaborating on newspeak. I mean, look at the way that people talk, right? The English language itself, people have, like, dumbed words down to almost like a new language. Like, the way that some people talk or just kind of mumble words. Right, and texting too. Texting's horrific, right? Like, dude, it's almost like we try to make words as short as possible while texting, right? We've basically tried to, like, simplify everything when it comes to speaking or communicating. And that's part of the lack of thought, I guess. I mean, I do think it kind of dumbs down your creative ability, right? Instead of finding new and different words to describe things, we've just completely simplified everything. And like the party too, bro, we have a group of elites in our world that are all partying at the fucking island and going to like Diddy parties, bro. Like, that's our party. And I think one of the most frightening things about the novel is that in the end, Big Brother wins. Right, his ability to deceive and to kind of alter the mind is so strong that he ends up winning. You know, Winston throughout the entire novel is against this. Down with Big Brother, he writes. And at the end, he says that he loves Big Brother. And it's like we're almost getting to a point in our world, I feel like, where the people running the world, they're going to be the ones that come out on top. It's like if you have someone that says things that are against them, they just get killed, right? They don't necessarily get vaporized. We haven't gone that far yet. There's still history, right? History hasn't been at least completely rewritten, but they just get straight up killed, assassinated, bro. And we do definitely have propaganda in our world, right? Like, I'm not going to deny that at all. You know, we're not at the point of completely rewriting history, but there's definitely propaganda that exists. And so it's just kind of scary to me, like, how dystopian our world is coming. And I think that's one of the reasons why people tend to like dystopian literature so much, is because it almost kind of relates to our world. And, you know, in the book, it's so easy to see, but when you're actually living in it, I feel like you can almost be more blind to it or influenced. One of the other ones, too, is like the aspect of conflict, right? Like, in the novel, the party's constantly at war. They keep the people at war so that, you know, they can continue to do their stuff, right? You know, these people don't have time to think and look into things because they're busy working on stuff, right? They're at war, always. And in our world, what this looks like, we've been put to war against each other. Like, people nowadays are more separated than ever, right? We have all these different parties, Democrats, Republicans, liberals, all this stuff. Meanwhile, there's our fucking party, a group of elites. They get to go to the fucking Diddy Epstein Island and do God knows what. While we're over here fighting about how many genders there are and whether abortion should be legal. And it's not that those things aren't important to some level, but I just think that there's bigger issues in the world. And they're giving us all this stuff to fight against each other about while they can do whatever they're fucking doing, right? And to be completely honest, I don't see this getting any better. I mean, like, we're so far apart from each other as a society that it feels like there's no way that we're all going to be able to come together and, like, do anything, right? I mean, as our party just gains more and more power over us, we keep fighting each other over shit that's not as important as what's going on, right? I don't see much that's going to happen. And so I do just think this is kind of going to get worse as time goes on, unless something does happen, and that would be probably better, right, for all of us. But it's like people really have lost the ability to communicate with each other and connect with each other. There's, especially, gosh, on the internet, people are always arguing, man. There's less of a sense of a community almost, and that is a generalization, right? Like there's still people that like to talk and like to get to know each other, right? That's not what I'm saying. That would be a more like, that's a very generalized viewpoint, but I do think there is some truth to it. And it's important in talking about like a dystopian type of world. Like people have lost the ability to talk to each other. And this is a whole nother video I'll probably make soon, right? It's not only have people lost the ability to talk to each other, but it's almost like they don't want to talk to each other. Like people have become isolated, man. Who knows though, maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe I'm just tweaking out, bro.